Welcome to yet another episode of the Younib Breakfast Show with me, Peninah Wachera, and I hope you guys have woken up well and are excited to face your day. I hope today you've said your morning affirmation of the day. At least make yourself feel good, yeah? Be intentional. It's important for us to be intentional with what we do for ourselves and also with what we say to ourselves, yeah? So as it is the norm here at the Younib Breakfast Show, let's go straight to the morning bite of the day. So today we're going to be speaking about the importance of mental health peer support in schools. Yeah, so this is peer-to-peer support with the children who are in schools. And to help us be able to tackle this conversation are definitely our own psychologist here. And I'd like to start from this side for them to actually just say hi and just mention your name just in case there's a new viewer watching us and they don't know you.
Right. Good morning. I hope hamjachoka na sisi na msichoke na sisi because tuko. My name is Beulah Njagi. I am a psychologist or a mental health facilitator with Psychosocial Support Center. We go by PSC for short. And we're here because we're working together with Younib organization to make sure that you have your mental health in check, are aware about what's happening, what you need to do, how to help yourself, how to help the people around you. And so my hope is that we will engage pamoja. We'll see you in the comments. We'll see you asking questions. We'll see you sharing experiences so that we can have this be as meaningful as possible for all of us.
Awesome. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
To my left.
Hi, good morning everyone. Kama kawaida. My name is Mutembei Muthami. I'm also a psychologist and I'm really excited to be here and I'm really pumped to be engaged in today's conversation.
I hope all of your morning is going on well, guys. Yeah? You're having a good morning. Yes, karibuni sana. Please enjoy your cup of coffee. So also, dear viewers, if you're having your cup of coffee or your tea in the morning, it's important for you to actually listen to this conversation so that you can be able to get information on matters mental health. This show is proudly brought to you by Miss Ashen and the Younib organization, and we're trying to reach out to the community to be able to enhance more information on matters mental health and also to ensure that you as an individual can be able to grow your mental health and to help you if you have any psychological problem. So if you need any help from our psychologist, you can always call the number 0700-352-250 and our psychologist will be able to help you out. And if you have questions that you want us to answer here at Younib Breakfast Show, or you have a topic or a conversation that you want us to hear from us, you can always channel those questions or also those conversations or titles through our social media platforms, Younib_TV on Instagram, Younib Media TV on Facebook, and there's a number on your screen. You can SMS or WhatsApp 0719-144-144. Yeah. So let's start with this conversation. So today we're speaking about peer support. Why is it important to have peer-to-peer support?
Well, let's start by first defining what a peer is. So when you talk about a peer support group, these are people who are around the same age. This could be your classmates, could be your friends from home, could be your work colleagues, could be people that you've met in church and all that. Basically, people who are around the same age. So what's important about having a peer support group is that by the virtue of you being around the same age or maybe having something that you share in common, you're able to relate to each other, you're able to have conversations that revolve around the issues that you're going through, and no one person is going to feel like they're left out of haishikanishi ama anasikia haizi kurelate kwa sababu hizi ni mashida ama hizi ni stories zenye zina happen, they're trending. It could be something that imefika to at that age or where you're supposed to now start these conversations, and it feels really good to be able to maybe like brainstorm with people around your same age, because you're not only relate but unaona yenyewe huyu alifanya hivyo ama amefanya hivi na hivi. It's something that you cannot just have a conversation with or have conversations around a certain topic, but you're also able to see what your other people are doing or what they're taking from the conversation that you're having in that, and implementing them in their own personal lives.
Okay, so I hope everyone has been able to know or understand the importance of having peer-to-peer support, yeah? So, Beulah, how does mental health peer support really differ from any other forms of support in schools?
Right. So it goes back to, the definition that Mutembei has given us, where peer refers to people you have commonalities. It could be age, it could be the experience that you're sharing, mostly actually age and, the experiences that you're sharing. And it reminds me of how back in the traditional days, ilikuwa zinaitwa rika, whereby mnekwa going through a certain life stage together, you're grouped together to give each other support. So it differs in the sense that there is a sense of equality there. The students don't get to feel like, the teacher is way older, or, the counselor is way older. They may not relate, they may not get. These are people who are living the same experience with you. So they have such a deeper understanding, or rather, when you're in that space, I feel like these are people who get me, because they're sharing in that experience with you. Yeah, so that's one of the major differences, in that sense of equality for tunapitia hii pamoja. No one has been through this, so we're just sharing. You, how did you navigate? Or me, I tried this, or you could try this. But we are all at the same level in that setting.
So, Mutembei, as you guys have been going around to see the children, or to be able to teach the children on the importance of peer-to-peer support systems, what are these challenges that you've come across that you feel can be easily tackled with the children just having, or the students just having, a peer-to-peer support system?
So one of the major concerns that have come up in our school visits is a lot of interpersonal relationships. So you'll find that the children themselves, they don't really per se have an issue with themselves as an individual, but you'll find that there's a lot of conflict either between the teachers and the teachers and the child, or the child and another student. So what these support systems can have is basically have a place. Let's meet as a union of, so let's say a students union, where you get to meet up, and then you get to voice out your concerns, your issues, and then maybe from that you can be able to let's say like brainstorm, get your advice from this student and maybe from another one. So remember that during this whenever these children they get to meet, they don't always come from the same backgrounds. They come from different households, they come from different walks of life. So kuna vitu zenye huyu anaweza kuwa anajua ule mwingine hajui. So whenever the children they get to meet and they get to like share about whatever it is that they've been facing, their experiences, they're able to get advice from among themselves, and it's going to be a diverse pool of advice. So you'll find that some of these interpersonal challenges could be something like bullying. So in the event that somebody you're able to talk about these instances where you're being bullied in school, or maybe you find you can't resist the urge to be the bully, you'll find that some the children, either your friends, you're going to voice out this to your friends, and then your friends may even take action towards the bully, where they can confront the bully and tell them, hey, this is our friend, we really want you to refrain from this. You see now what this has done, it has solved the concern or the issue on a very peaceful front, and it has not involved the authorities. So no one has gotten into trouble, but this problem has been solved. And then in the event that maybe now this happens again, you'll find that now the children are going now to be able to escalate and this evidence, as opposed to maybe you've gone to the teacher and then you say that you've been bullied, then there's no evidence, there's no one to back up your claims. Anasema unaenda unasema mimi huyu ananichapa lakini haujaumia, haujafanya nini. So it's even hard for the teacher to actually justify your claims. But in the event that you've shared this with your people or your fellow classmates, you find that they're able to also to back you up in whatever claims that you make, maybe to the authorities. Something else would be basically offering that sense of community, because you find that sometimes these children, they are facing so much at home, and then when they come to school, they don't have that index. hawajui kwa kina nani, kwa kina Margaret kuna kaji, kwa kina Kevin kuna kaji. So yeye unapata yeye anakaa tu na mashida zake. You find that the child is going to start deteriorating in their performance simply because they feel like they're the only ones who are going through troubles at home. They're the only ones who are facing some certain challenges in their social lives. But within the support system, you will find that if the the students are able to voice out their concerns or their experiences, watapata, kumbe kina Kevin pia anapitia this and this and this. It might not be the same problem, but the fact that you find that by the virtue of the child knowing that some people they're not the only ones who are suffering in life, but other people are also going through some challenges, you find that they feel like sio mimi peke yangu. So which means that other people out there are also human. So in as much as I'm also hard on myself, I need to accommodate the fact that, sometimes suffering, sometimes pain, sometimes trauma, sometimes infliction of pain is part of the human experience. But you wouldn't know that if you didn't have people to tell you that they are also going through things on their own.
Awesome. And I hope all of us are following up with this conversation. And it begs me to ask the question to our viewers that, do you think that peer-to-peer support really helped you in school? And if it does, how do you think it was of help to you? Yeah. So as we are thinking, or as we are answering this question, I want us to take this short break, and we'll be back with more conversation about peer-to-peer support in school. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is still the Younib Breakfast Show, and I'll be sampling some of your comments. The first comment is, emotionally, having supportive friends made school less stressful. Knowing I had people to talk to about challenges kept me motivated. Thank you so much. There's somebody who said, I struggled with math, but a friend who was good at it always helped me out. In return, I helped them with literature. It was a win-win. And sample another one. School wasn't just about books. Peer support taught me teamwork, resilience, and the importance of lifting each other up. Thank you so much. I was new in school and making friends was hard, but one peer support group welcomed me. And that made my transition so much easier. Thank you so much for your comments, and keep on sending them through our social media platform, Younib_TV on Instagram, Younib Media TV on Facebook, and there's a number on your screen. You can SMS or WhatsApp 0719 144 144. Remember, this show is probably brought to you by Miss Ashen and the Younib organization, and we're trying to reach out to the community to teach you on matters mental health. And if you have any issue, or you know of a friend or a family member who needs help with their psychology, or who need just help with their mental health, you can always ask them, or you can always call the number 0700 352 250, and our psychologist will be able to help us out. Yeah. So as we've heard from our responses or from our viewers, we've learned that peer support was good for us. And I want to just take us a little bit out of the topic, like literally for you being mental health people or psychologists here. Yeah. And I'd like to also know your experience when it comes to peer support in school. So how did peer support help you?
Well, my most significant support system that in regards to my school life would have been in high school. I remember that for those of us who've been to high school, Form 2, Form 3 is usually quite a very tricky time, because that's when you're starting to know who you are as a person. That's when you want to decide you want to study music, because you've now suddenly discovered rock music. That's when you want to be a designer, because suddenly Calvin Klein may drop a new jacket. But it can be very confusing, because you really don't know what you want to do. You don't know where to start. And for me, I was so happy. I was lucky enough to have found I would say 3 friends who we used to sit together to navigate story, talk about life. In the event that, let's say, we were from the holidays, we'd catch up on what we did for the holidays, what went wrong, what went right, what could have been better, what went overboard, and all that. Basically, my friends created for a support system where I was not just having them as friends, but they also knew parts of me or parts of my social life, and they would be able to recognize some certain patterns that maybe I wouldn't. So we find that whenever we break for schools, I'd be intentional with the break, because at least then I'd sure, we need to have some interesting stories to go back and share. And not just the interesting, would be like, wazee, over the holiday, kulikuwa na shida fulani hapa na pale. And then your friends will be like, oh, for real, that also happened to you. Maybe I'm going in the tuition, and all that. So you find that at the end of the school holiday, it wouldn't just be like, oh, now you're so sad, you don't want to go back to school. You'd be actually pumped to go back to school, so that you can actually share your experiences, talk to your friends, listen to what they were up to, and then maybe plan ahead, maybe next over the holiday or during this time, what are the resolutions that you've made. So for me, my high school was quite interesting. I had a really good high school experience, because I had people who are able to support me in whatever it is that I did, people who actually understood my struggles, people who shared in my sorrows, and people who were there for me wholesomely.
Awesome. What about you, Beulah?
That's such a wholesome experience.
Yeah, I know.
For me, I think peer support came more when I think of high school, it came more in the form of clubs and associations. And that worked for me, because I still am quite an introvert, but back then my social skills were very close to zero. And so it was very hard for me to make friends or fit in. So like, if you've ever felt that way, you know that you tend to feel lonely most of the time. And so joining those clubs for me, and then not unajua zile za introverts, seek na scouts, hizo za extroverts, people who already can, yap and get things going. So I'd join those two quiet ones, science club, environmental, SG, debate, to go watch, or those ones. They gave me that opportunity to actually begin to form friendships, because now it takes the pressure off of me as a person, and we focus on something that we both either interested in or trying to be interested in some of those cases. And now it helps now to start a conversation. So that now when I see Pesh, I remember, ule ni Peshwa, ile club tunakwanga, so now I can say hi. Yeah. And now just slowly I began to learn to open up, at least be able to say hi, how are you? Start those two, what are they called? The pleasantries, those two small conversations, which was really helpful, because once you go to uni, I don't think there were systems there, but it's hard to find someone consistently holding your hand to take you through everything, because you're so afraid of other people. So having that experience where we just meet people I don't know and we talk about whatever it is we're talking about, and through that you learn to ask a few questions and engage a bit more, came to be very, very helpful. Yeah.
That's awesome. And I like how good it is for us to understand the importance of peer-to-peer support. From our viewers, from ourselves here, we've all experienced the opportunity of the awesomeness of having peer-to-peer support. So whatever we are speaking about is not new under the sun. Yes. It's something that will be able to help you out. If you're a parent or a teacher out there and you see that in your school there's no peer-to-peer support, it's good you can be able to start maybe having conversations on it, and maybe start it up when it comes to the school setup. At home, by having friends, the children having friends with each other, just know your friends, your children's friends, and you get also to see how they are able to interact and learn from each other, is already a way of also peer-to-peer support. I am lying?
No. You're absolutely right.
Yes, so it's good to get 100% clarification so that I may not lie to you guys. But you see, I usually give 100% of information, yeah? So because of the experiences we've all had, and also our viewers have had, what are some of the advantages of peer-to-peer support?
Right. I'd say, first of all, it's what we've talked about, the commonalities of the experiences that we're sharing. So what that does for someone is, one, you get to learn that you're not alone. You see, when you're going to tuseme mwalimu ama the school counselor, you might feel like it's so daunting, like you're the only one going through an issue. But if you say it here amongst us, if I come in the morning and I say, wow, leo nilishindwa kuamka, and you guys are like, me too, it's very validating. It's like you're not the only one going through that. And number two, it gives now that sense of hope. It's like, oh, if you guys experience that and somehow you learned to get over it, then even me, I can. And so now it builds up the curiosity for, how did you go about it? What can I learn from you? What can I try that I like that worked for you? So, and then there's also that sense of belonging, whereby you get to notice with children, if you give them a project, if you give them a group, it becomes like they take such responsibility in taking care of it, because now it's their thing. And so that sense of ownership, that sense of belonging, means that they'll be so keen to actually make sure that it works. And it's such an encouraging thing to watch, because now they take responsibility for it. And it may look like, oh, they're taking peer counseling or peer support groups too seriously. But really what's happening is they're taking their mental health that seriously, by how sold out they will be to watch over the group, and to make sure that the things that are running in the group are what it's actually supposed to be. So that sense of ownership. And then I'd say also, I mean, the examples that you've just shared from what our viewers have shared, there's that hope, there's that growth that you can actually see. There's growth in social skills. There's growth in even regulating, because now you learn how to experience your things amongst other people, how to share, how to be vulnerable, how to offer help to others. And so there's a lot that you get to learn, more so in the aspect of social skills, just from you guys being a group and going through something together.
Interesting. And I think it's something that needs to be nurtured more. Many people need to actually allow their children to just be there for each other, to support each other, because at the end of the day, it is good for their mental health, right? So as we think about this conversation, as we continue sending in our responses when it comes to how much peer support was important to our lives back in school, and also what it has done to us so that we can be what we are today, yeah? I want us to take this short break, and we'll be back as we continue the conversation of the day. Welcome back. This is still the Younib Breakfast Show, and today we're speaking about the importance of peer-to-peer support in schools and what it does to our mental health. Yeah. So remember to always interact with us through our social media platform, Younib_TV on Instagram, Younib Media TV on Facebook, and there's a number on your screen. You can SMS or WhatsApp 0719 144 144. And remember, this show is proudly brought to you by Miss Ashan and Younib organization, and we're trying to reach out to the community and teach you more or get you informed on more matters mental health. So if you know of somebody who is struggling maybe with their mental health, you can always advise them to use the number 0700 352 250 and contact our psychologist so that they can be able to get help. Yeah. So coming back to the conversation, we know that these things, mostly the peer-to-peer support, happens in schools. So what is the role of teachers and also the school staff for promotion of the mental health peer-to-peer support among students in schools?
We keep insisting that it's important for the adults and the grown-ups in our lives to model whatever it is that they feel that is it's going to be of good use to the children or the future generations. So I feel that it's also very important for teachers to also model the essence of support groups in schools to their own students. This is important, I feel, because like we have discussed before, children spend most of their time in schools. So whatever it is that they are able to see their teachers doing, they are also able to pick up on that. So for instance, we could have maybe a debate group for the teachers versus the students. In that, the teachers get to come together. They rack up their points and then they get to engage the students in, let's say, a friendly debate. See ati ile ya tulisema now we are debating until the end comes. No, just for the students to be like to recognize that there's strength in numbers, because now there's no way that mtakutana na your colleagues or your fellow classmates that you want to mnataka ku discuss about points for your debate na mkose ku share about your social lives. You'll find that yes, what may have started that as a debate forum is going to end up being a support system where that now the students are able to come together pull their resources together. They're able to, somebody is really good at this, somebody is good at English, somebody is good at speaking, but they're not good at formulating their points. So they'll get to work as a group and then recognize their strengths or their weaknesses. So in as much as, yes, it's competitive, at the end of the day, you also get to get feedback from your players, from your team members, that you are where areas you're good at, where you need to actually work on. Another thing could be for the teachers to actually allocate time for these support groups. Ile design yenye from like 2 to 3 p.m. the teachers are not involved. It's basically time for the students to come together, sit down and talk about whatever issues that they've been going through. This puts it. It frames it within the timetable, in that the students are able to know that in Masa maybe on a Wednesday between 3 to 4 p.m. I'm supposed to talk to my friends. Ile yenye stories zimekubalika zipigwe story, as long as the stories are constructive. Maybe you can have like somebody who's going to share conversations and all that. You could divide the groups into you could divide the class into small groups. You task them with maybe talking about a topic, and then once they are let's say they've discussed and they feel content, they can have the small groups come back into a bigger group where they're able to share their conversations, share whatever it is that wamepata. Kwa sababu unapata there are people who are going to be they would really want the support group, but they don't know who it is that they're going to approach. So if you find that you give the students a forum where they can brainstorm and then pick up on something or something, utapata maybe for example, kuna kitu nilisikia Beulah amesema, kuna kitu nilisikia Valentine alisema, kitu Pesh alisema, na utajua Pesh is good at that, Valentine is good at that, Beulah is well conversant with this. So I'll be able to pinpoint who am I going to approach to form part of my support system on my own, as opposed to just having a collective experience where it's just people who are just sharing with a clear goal with the goal of socializing, not offering support to each other.
Awesome. And when you're mentioning that, I remembered my experience in school where we had actually the peer-to-peer counseling as a club, yes, but it was also an activity of the school. So a specific day, I remember, was it on Fridays? I don't remember the exact day, but we had a day and a time allocated for that. So anytime the peer counseling time was coming up for counseling time, we used to just go, different people, mostly the peer counseling, members of the peer counseling club will go, and they're already allocated to different classes. So they're the ones to go lead conversations in those classes, and teachers were just there to observe and to also help out if there's a challenge that the peers could not maybe be able to answer. But it was quite a good initiative, which we saw many people opening up, many people speaking out their minds. Yeah, it was really good. And I feel like that was one of the things that our high school was able to help us out when it comes to speaking together and learning together. And yes, initiating group discussions, which we had. I remember my class teacher could do the life skills. For her now, she could just say, go into groups, talk about the things you want, and then one of the students, a representative, we could just choose one representative who will go and maybe speak in general. So I feel like I have really resonated with what you've said, because it's something that I have experienced. Yeah. Yes. So anyway, back to our conversation. Beulah, how can schools now encourage students to actively participate in mental health peer support initiatives and reduce the stigma associated with seeking help?
Wow. First of all, you need to tell us which school because they need to be given a seat here.
Yeah.
And really educate other, administrative systems on how they do that, because that's very important. And I think that actually becomes the first point, whereby if the school admin itself sees the importance of these peer support groups, begins to initiate them by creating space, giving time for these groups, as Mutembei has talked about. Again, create such an awareness to generally the whole schools, the teachers and the students, that this is something that is important and that they have the support of the school. So creating that time, I think it would also go back to what forms of education can they employ to again create awareness on why this is happening? So is it on students who have really caught the mission and can train other students as you guys were doing? Is it teachers, the teachers who are in charge of the guidance and counseling to run with it and really, emphasize on the importance of it? Is it calling an outsider? Because students sometimes also just enjoy that. Like, si mwalimu wangu wa math, it must be true, just because it's an outside face, coming to talk about the importance of that. And so just the school giving time for that, I would say is very important. Number two, having some sort of system in place so that there's also referrals, so that the groups know whether this is for life issues. Na vitu zikiescalate hapa, this is where we go next. We'll talk to the guidance and counseling teacher or the school counselor. If that needs more help, this is what they will do. This is what they will do. So a referral system, so that you as a student who is wondering, what do I do? At least you've already been educated on the whole process. You can talk to this one is the leader in your class or in whatever space. I'd say also 3, trying to create that culture in as many spaces, because when we're talking about peer support, it doesn't have to be in a psychological or in a counseling setting. It could be that we are a support group because tuko kwa football team pamoja, sindio? So I may not be interacting much with guys the way yours was a club, the peer counseling club, because me, I'm busy with my football. But here with the football team, do we have a way? Is the coach, able to teach us a way of how we can offer support to each other, so that after futa, tuna debrief kiasi, tunaulizana, we home kukwaje, we mwenye ukwaje, una struggle na nini, what do you need help with? So that in whatever club, association, sport, or extracurricular activity, basically, the teacher, the patron or matron involved has a way, has learned or has been trained on how to help teach the children how to create these spaces for themselves, whereby after whatever activity or before whatever activity, we can actually talk about how we are doing and offer that support to each other, so that we are growing even in our talents or whatever, we're still taking care of our mental health in that way.
Yeah, awesome. And I feel like this is a conversation we can keep on speaking about, and so many people out there, I know they've been able to resonate with this conversation, because all of us in one way or another, we have passed through school and we've seen the importance of actually having the support system, peer-to-peer support system, and what it has done to our own experiences. I can see the director is telling me our time is up, and I'd like to, before we even close up, I'd just like some few words from both of you that will be able to help us now, mostly let's say just parting shots that will be able to just have this conversation into an end. Let's start with you, Mutembei.
I would urge our viewers to be a therapist or to be a friend to your friends. Be the same person that you'd want in another person. Well, what this does for us is that, if I am a friend to Beulah, if I'm a friend to you, you're going to be a friend to our director, you're going to be a friend to the shopkeeper, and you are going to create a harmonious experience where we are all able to share about whatever it is that we believe in, whatever it is that we are going through, and then that makes it that at the end of the day, I'm going to be well supported enough for me to offer support to another person.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mutembei. Beulah, please.
To our viewers, whether you are a parent, a teacher, a student, whether this conversation relates to you, I think I'd urge you to be intentional about 1, taking care of yourself, and then 2, being able to look outside yourself and just ask the next person, the person next to you, like for real, sile asalamu, how are you? And from that, create a culture, as Mutembei has said, where we care and we show care and we're able to hold each other through good times and through tough times. So be intentional.
Thank you so much. And I feel like this conversation is not only speaking to the children in schools, but also to each of us individually. That means that if, for example, wherever I am maybe at work, at home, it's just important for us to actually have these conversations to ensure that at least I know much better of, yes, Mutembei is my brother, but how is he doing? Yeah, you know, you might find yourselves, you're living together, but you don't even know what really is happening to each other. So it's important for us to be just support systems to each other, be it our family, be it our friends. And yes, as we're speaking about the schools, I hope also we are getting to learn that it is important for every individual, not only school students, not only our experiences in schools. It was not supposed to stop there, but it's something that we need to continue cultivating. It was a value that we learned that we need to actually continue using it in our whole life. Yeah. So thank you so much for everyone who has watched this show and everyone who has been supporting this show. Asanteni sana. Thank you so much to the director and our camera person who is Elias Muchina. And I'm sure nowadays you're always like, okay, Elias Muchina. Yes, he is the person who has been able to make this show a success by being our camera person and by being the director. Yeah, and definitely I can't forget our guests here who have been able to actually help us tackle this conversation, this amazing conversation. At least we've relived our lives, yeah, and our experiences in school. So asanteni sana. And to you, our dear viewers, please feel free to share this show and also ensure that we become intentional. We become people who care about each other. Yeah. Until next time, do have a beautiful day ahead. Goodbye.